The Seahawks, it isn't a ton of news potentially. It's just more progress towards the potential of a new head coaching hire, with the Ravens losing to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game and the Lions losing to the 49ers, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Everett. In the NFC Championship game, both Mike MacDonald, defensive coordinator of Baltimore, and Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, are now free to interview however they'd like to, as their respective seasons are over with their current teams. Ben Johnson has already met with the Seahawks once. This would be his second meeting with the team, and Mike MacDonald has not met with the Seahawks at all, despite the team having reported interest in him throughout the course of their coaching search. They haven't gotten any interviews in with him. Now they are free to do so. Washington, the Commanders, the only other vacant head coaching position in the league. There's only two now. By the time that we saw you last week, there were at least five, and now we're down to two. The Seahawks and the Commanders. Both teams are going to look at MacDonald and Johnson, and it makes sense. Johnson's done a great job with the Lions offense and what talent they've got there. Jared Goff had a really strong year. You can wonder what he could do here in Seattle with the weapons of a DK Metcalf, a Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Kenneth Walker. We could go down the list, of course. On the defensive side of the ball, though, Mike MacDonald, if you're really looking to spark plug this defense, a defense that does have a ton of talent. Devon Witherspoon is a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year award, a Defensive Rookie of the Year. I apologize. Award in the NFL here for his strong season. You'd look at Mike MacDonald. And obviously, continuing that, the Seahawks are without an offensive coordinator as well, as Shane Waldron has bolted for Chicago to call plays for the Bears. So there are a few different coaching dominoes that need to fall, but obviously you want to get the head coach out of the way first, and then that head coach will likely bring in their respective staff as well. So, MacDonald, if you're a defensive, a lot of the fan base has looked at MacDonald already as their head coach. They don't care about any other candidates that are out there, which there are still plenty of capable candidates to take this head coaching job. I'd still like for them to meet with Mike Vrabel. Vrabel has met with a few teams already, interviewed with the Falcons. They went with Raheem Morris, former defensive coordinator of the Rams, who I thought might end up here in Seattle personally. Dan Quinn is somebody that a lot of the fan base wanted here. I push back against that a little bit. Bill Belichick is still without a job, and it doesn't seem clear that he wants to retire quite yet. But it doesn't look like he'd necessarily be a great candidate for either of the current teams that are without a head coach at this moment. So there are more than a few capable candidates out in the NFL coaching space that could take this Seahawks job that we're looking at currently. But Johnson and MacDonald, two guys who are now free to interview, are two of the guys who a lot of folks have highest on their respective lists. So that'll be interesting to keep looking at. Again, coordinators, whether it's offensive or defensive, don't always necessarily make great head coaches. It's not, some folks aren't able to make that jump, unfortunately. So maybe you look to a Vrabel who's already done a head coaching job and has earned some respect around the league when doing so with the Tennessee Titans. So that is it for the Seahawks. Nothing else really going on in the realm of Seattle. We look at the Super Bowl, it's the Chiefs and the 49ers. So, at least for us, we're looking at the Chiefs to win that game because you don't want another Super Bowl in the division, unfortunately. And that's kind of the slow-moving parts of it. We'll eventually be looking at, free agents for the Seahawks, whether it's their current class of who's going to hit free agency. The mock drafts will slowly be loading here, and who Seattle will take at the 16th overall pick. But the head coaching job is obviously domino number one that needs to fall for Seattle in their current offseason. We look to the Mariners there, as I mentioned. There might be a rumor that there might be a deal for the team here. And then as I look here now, Ben Johnson is just about penciled in for the Commanders as their new head coach. So, Seattle still has an interview supposedly with him lined up, so that could change as well. But there's supposed to be a Mariners move